Hello, it's Tom with Digital Foundry with a quick look at how budget PC setups fare with Dark Souls 3. Simply put, can we get a PC with a Core i3-4130 processor and a budget GPU like the GTX 750 Ti or R7 360 to run this game at console settings at 1080p? To match the PS4 and Xbox One visual standard as best we can, we're sticking to the high preset for most options, one down from maximum. From here we drop motion blur, shadows and effects to medium. So to the setup, these GPUs just don't cut it at stock clocks, and so we need to make a few tweaks. Our 750 Ti, for example, is boosted by 200 MHz to the core clock, and plus 400 MHz to memory using MSI's Afterburner utility. Meanwhile, the R7 360 needs an overclock too, and we push the core clock to 1200 MHz and up to 1800 MHz on memory. And, well, the results really speak for themselves. These are unlocked frame rates, and of course we're not hitting the 60 FPS line on these cards, but we are crucially getting a sizable amount of headroom over the 30 FPS line, which is exactly where we want to be. Bear in mind, this isn't how we'd ideally be playing the game. This is just to prove where the two cards stand next to each other, and if we were to implement a 30 FPS cap, how stable it'd be. So between the 750 Ti and R7 360, the advantage is pretty obvious. The Nvidia card turns in an average frame rate of 44 frames per second over the course of these tests, but the AMD card turns in a much lower 36 frames per second average. This essentially gives the 750 Ti more headroom to play with should it ever drop, and it's really surprising given the comparatively lower power requirement of the card. In fact, the lowest reading we get from it is 28 FPS right at the end of this test. As for the R7 360, well, it's less flattering and the low point is at 25 frames per second. Our view is the 750 Ti is the clear winner here and proved very easy to overclock with the right tools. Sadly, there is no official way to cap to 30 FPS, but the Nvidia control panel offers a half-rate adaptive VSync option which overrides the game's settings. This means no frame pacing issues in the game and a perfectly even 30 FPS line. It's a big upgrade in smoothness compared to PS4 in this sense, where the 30 FPS line there is coupled with erratic frame pacing issues that cause 16 and 50 millisecond spikes on our graph. The one downside we noticed to this Nvidia 30 FPS cap though is, while it is smoother than the console experience, it does introduce a level of extra controller lag not seen on PS4. It's a compromise and something that made controller feedback a tad slower than we expected. Whether you want to use this 30 FPS cap or not will come down to personal preference, but for my taste it proved too noticeable, but there's no doubt it does smooth off PS4's rough edges. Anyway, we'll leave you with the rest of our tests here. Just give us a shout in the comments to let us know what you think, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, thanks for watching.